here with Saturday Night Football. This is college football. This is championship weekend. There's 10 conferences in the FBS. There are 10 conference championship games, one on Friday, all on Saturday. Should be some interesting, fun matchups here. Let's jump into it. Friday, you got the Pac-12 championship game. You got the Utah Utes facing the Oregon Ducks. Utah, their last one of the year, they destroyed Colorado 45-15. Tyler Huntley, 165 passing, 2 touchdowns. They ran for 207. They had 5 sacks on a punt return touchdown. Oregon won the Civil War game against Oregon State 24-10. Justin Herbert, 174 passing, a touchdown. They had a kick return touchdown in that game. This game will be really good. Utah should be sitting in the college football rankings about 5 or 6 with Alabama losing. They have a really strong shot at making the top 4, the college playoffs. I personally think Utah is better than Georgia. I think they are a legitimate playoff contender. They have one of the best defenses in the country. They have a really good running back in Zach Moss. Tyler Huntley's a good quarterback. They have a really solid offense. Oregon, they have one of the best defenses in the country. Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. It's just they kind of struggled the last few games. They got upset by Arizona State. Oregon State was a strong team this year, but they kind of struggled even putting them away a little bit. I think this will be an interesting, close game, but I personally think Utah might be the better overall team. So I think Utah will end up taking this and make a really strong case. If they win this, that means they'll be 12-1, probably sitting there at number 5 or 6, and who knows what happens with the other games. So I think Pac-12 title game goes to Utah. All right, jumping into Saturday, the Big 12 championship game, Baylor and Oklahoma State. Both teams also have cases to maybe make the playoffs. Both teams 11-1. Both teams will be in the top 7 or 8 probably. Baylor a few weeks ago, they had that huge lead on Oklahoma, 20-3, and Oklahoma came all the way back to win. Baylor's coming off a big victory over Kansas, killed them 61-6. Charlie Brewer passed for 182 and a touchdown. They put up 507 yards. They had 6 turnovers in that game. Oklahoma beat Oklahoma State in Bedlam 34-16. Jalen Hurts 163 passing, a touchdown plus 61 rushing and a touchdown. Kennedy Brooks ran for 160 and a touchdown. They put up 450 yards. They did have 9 penalties in that game. They can't do that against Baylor. Although Baylor had a big lead on Oklahoma in the first game, I think this is going to start out a little bit differently. Oklahoma had some turnovers early on, plus Baylor capitalized and was able to move it. I do think this should be a pretty close game again, but I think Oklahoma probably will have the lead from the outset. I don't see them going down 20-3 in this one. So I think Oklahoma would take the Big 12 championship game. Jalen Hurts is still a legitimate Heisman candidate. He should be at least in New York. Probably won't win it though, just because Joe Burrow and Justin Fields at LSU and Ohio State are like way above everybody else. But anyway, I do think Oklahoma should clinch and win the Big 12 championship game and possibly sneak into the playoffs depending on what happens above them. Then you got the Sun Belt title game. You have Louisiana Lafayette at 10-2 and Appalachian State 11-1 and ranked. Louisiana Lafayette, I've been saying all year, they have maybe the best trio of running backs in the country with Elijah Mitchell and Raymond Calais and there's the third guy, I can't remember, but they have a really good offense all year. You know, they almost beat Mississippi State early on, and then they played Appalachian State and only lost to them by 10. They beat their rival Louisiana Monroe 31-30. It was a great game. Louisiana Monroe had missed an extra point and then missed the winning field goal at the end for ULL to win. Levi Lewis passed for 270, 3 touchdowns. Raymond Calais ran for 107 and a touchdown. Elijah Mitchell ran for 102. Bradley, 4 catches, 127 and a touchdown. He put up 522 yards of offense. Appalachian State destroyed Troy 48-13. Zach Thomas, 326 passing, 4 touchdowns and 1 rushing. Thomas Hennigan, 11 catches, 140. They had 4 sacks on defense and 2 turnovers, and I just realized both teams had exactly 522 yards in their wins this year. Like I said, this is a rematch from earlier in the season, which Appalachian State won 17-7. I think it'll be that way. It's also a rematch from last year's Sun Belt Championship with which Appalachian State. I think they won. I think the score was like within 10 or something. I can't remember the final exactly, but they always play each other well. Appalachian State, a lot of people kind of know about them because they're years ago against Michigan, and they've been doing it well in this level. Louisiana Lafayette, they're a team that's really under the radar. They have 10 wins this year, and like I said, they're about this close from being undefeated. Appalachian State as well as this close from being undefeated. I think this is going to be an awesome game. I think Appalachian State should be on upset alert. The line is App State by 6.5. That sounds about right. I am going to go with Appalachian State in the end to win. Both teams have... Appalachian State has one of the best defenses and offenses in the country. They're like in the top 20 or 30 in both. Louisiana Lafayette has one of the best offenses in the country. I think this will be a really good game. It'll come down to him, but I think Appalachian State again will be the one that prevails. Goes 12-1. Appalachian State could sneak in as that highest ranked Group of 5 bowl, depending on what happens in the American Athletic Conference game with Cincinnati and Memphis, depending on what happens with Boise State in the Mountain West title game against Hawaii. But anyway, Sun Belt title, I think goes App State. All right, the MAC championship game, you have Miami of Ohio Redhawks taking on the Central Michigan Chippewas. Miami of Ohio, they finished 7-5. They lost their last game actually to Ball State, 41-27. Gabbert was 6 of 8 for 116 and a touchdown. He kind of got hurt. He's questionable for the game. Jackson Williamson came in not very good. 4 of 11, 52 yards, 2 picks. They only had 275 yards. Turned it over twice. Defense played okay. Had 3 sacks but allowed 578 in offense. Central Michigan, they destroyed Toledo 49-7. Quentin Dormady 250 passing, 2 touchdowns. Kobe Lewis 131 rushing, 2 touchdowns. They were at 552 on offense. I'm going to say Jim McElwain. He's the former Gator coach. Congrats to him with Central Michigan. Central Michigan was 1-11 last season. They've turned around completely. They're 8-4 right now. They are in the MAC championship game. They're going to be going to a bowl game. Their offense has been doing really well. They have good running backs and Jonathan Ward and Kobe Lewis. They've done it with a couple of quarterbacks. I think it was David Moore started most of the year and was awesome, and then I think he was suspended. And Quentin Dormady, a transfer from Tennessee, has been great. I think this is Central Michigan. Miami of Ohio is kind of they've been okay, but their offense has been kind of hit or miss. They have a decent defense, but Central Michigan is mostly their offense has been great. They've mostly been rolling over a lot of people, or at least putting up a bunch of points and yards. And I'm not sure Miami of Ohio can keep up. So I think Central Michigan is going to win. And I wouldn't be surprised if Central Michigan beats them pretty soundly. It says Central Michigan by 6. I think they beat that by a double or maybe triple, or even more. But I think Central Michigan will have a nice turnaround season there with Jim McElwain and get that MAC championship. All right, for any Florida fans, not Gator fans, just if you're in the state of Florida and you want to root for Florida team this weekend, you got the CUSA championship game. You have UAB Blazers against the Florida Atlantic Owls. Second time in 3 years that Lynn Kiffin's Owls will be going to play for this USA title game. Second year in a row, UAB will play for this title game. Bill Clark, the coach at UAB, one of the best in the country in my opinion. I'll explain why in a minute. But UAB is coming off a 26-21 win over North Texas. Dylan Hopkins, 6 of 12, 99 yards, not great. Spencer Brown ran for 111 and a touchdown. They ran for 2 or 3, but it's really their defense that won this game. They had 7 sacks, 2 turnovers, and a pick 6 that ended up winning the game at the end. Florida Atlantic played really well against a strong Southern Miss team. They beat them 34-17. Chris Robinson, his completion percentage was like 8 of 19, but it was for 156 and 3 touchdown passes. Defense had 3 sacks in that game, forced 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions in that game. Now, this is why I think UAB, Bill Clark, is one of the best coaches in America. And I've explained this before. A few years ago, was it 2014, his first year with UAB, they brought him 6-6. They were bowl eligible. They did not get selected for a bowl because the next 2 years, in 2016 and in 2015 and 2015 and 16, they did away with the football program. So they didn't select them to a bowl because the bowl committees thought the fans would not show up in a bowl game. Those 2 seasons, they had no football program. They brought him back in 2017, his first year back after not playing. Then most of their players went on to transfer other places to play or whatever. They won 8 games that year in 2017, made the bowl. Then last year they won 11 games, set a school record, 11 wins, won the CUSA championship game and went to a bowl and won it. Then this year, all those players gone. They had their starting senior quarterback. He graduated. They had 8. I think they had 8 total return starters on the team, 4 in offense, 4 in defense. Tyler Johnston started at quarterback most of the year. They played well on defense, played okay. And then the last few games, that guy, Tyler Johnston, he was hurt. So Dylan Hopkins has come in, and yet they've still won. They still have 9 wins. They are going to play for this USA title game. Bill Clark needs to get another. He's proven it with UAB. He's taken, and it's a university that has no history. They made a bowl in like 03 or 04 and nothing really beyond that. And he's done what he's done, UAB, with not playing football for 2 seasons and just bowl eligible every year, playing in two conference title games, winning 1. I think he's awesome. That being said, this game in particular, I think Florida Atlantic is the better team. Florida Atlantic has one of the best offenses in the country. They're solid enough on defense. UAB is a really, really strong defense, and they can do some things on offense. They have a good running back in Spencer Brown. He's been hurt most this year, but he's like a 1,300-yard rusher that last year and the year before, if I'm not mistaken. I think Florida Atlantic will end up with the victory here, but this will be an interesting, kind of strength versus strength, good offense versus good defense. But I think in the end, it'll be Florida Atlantic taking it out. All right, then you got the American Athletic Championship game, Cincinnati and Memphis. This is a repeat. They just played each other in the final game of the year. Memphis beat Cincinnati 34-24 to actually clinch the division, and it's going to be back in Memphis again for the American Athletic Championship game. This is large for also New Year's Six bowl game, because Memphis should be slightly ahead of Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got 2 losses now. Memphis only has 1, but Boise State has 1 and Appalachia State has 1. So if Cincinnati can get this upset, then it's possible that Memphis falls below App State and Boise State. If Memphis wins, they'll probably stay up and go to New Year's Six bowl. Memphis won. Brady White was 233 passing, 2 touchdowns. Monte Cook 6 catches, 145 and a touchdown. Defense had 5 sacks, 3 turnovers, and they had a kick return for a touchdown. Now, Cincinnati actually played really well considering their quarterback Desmond Ridder, he's been hurt. He did not play, so Ben Bryant started his first game as a redshirt freshman and actually fared pretty decently. 229 passing, a touchdown. He did throw 2 picks, but he ran for 1 and kept them in the game. They only lost by 10, and they were pretty much 1 score behind all game long. They were actually down 17-3, and he brought it back to tie 17-all. At one point, Michael Warren ran for 122 and a touchdown. They put up 407 yards, but however, they turned over 3 times, which hurt them. Next week, Ridder is questionable for the game, but now Bryant can play. They made mistakes, and they still almost won. This will be a really, really interesting game. Cincinnati, they've kind of had everything going for them. I really have a feeling that Cincinnati is going to win this game. But I'm trying to look at it logically. I think Memphis overall is, they have the better players, skill players, receivers. Kenneth Gainwell, the best freshman, one of the best running backs in the country, period, whether freshman or not. I'm going to go Memphis here in the end, but I have a real feeling I'm going to be wrong in this. But we'll go Memphis there, and they will take the AAC title game. Then we got the SEC Championship, Georgia and LSU. LSU destroyed Texas A&M 50-7. Joe Burrow 352 passing, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase 7 catches, 197, 2 touchdowns. They put up 553. Defense had 6 sacks, 3 turnovers, only allowed 169. Georgia destroyed Georgia Tech 52-7. Jake Fromm under 50% for the 4th game in a row. That's important. However, he did pass for 254 and 4 touchdowns. They put up 500 yards, but the turnover 3 times. Defense had a fumble return touchdown, only allowed 139. LSU's going to destroy them. I think Georgia is so weak. Fromm is under 50%. And like I said, in the last 4 games, It's been kind of mass. They've been playing somewhat inferior opponents. It's not going to do that against LSU. And DeAndre Swift just got hurt. He may or may not be playing. So I think it's all going to be on Fromm, and he's not going to do it. I think LSU, honestly, I would be surprised if this is within like 25. Or I think LSU is just going to destroy them. Georgia's defense is really good, but their offense is terrible, and LSU can score on anybody and everybody, and I think they will. I think LSU's got this. I think LSU's going to the playoff. Georgia's going to get knocked out. All right, Mountain West Championship game. Should be a really good one. Boise State and Hawaii. Boise State, they're right there for that New Year's Six Bowl. They're 11-1. They could get in. Hawaii, actually, 9-win season. They played each other earlier in the year, and Boise State beat them like 59-37 or something like that. It could be a little different. Boise State's to their third-string quarterback. However, he's been playing really well. They beat Colorado State 31-24. Jalen Henderson, 253 passing, 2 touchdowns plus 1 rushing. Shakir, 7 catches, 103. Hawaii beat a really good, pretty decent Army team, 52-31. Cole McDonald came in, 250 passing, 3 touchdowns. Jared Smart, 8 catches, 123 and a touchdown. Cedric Bird, 8 catches, 122 and a touchdown. They put up 492 as a team. They had a 100-yard pick six in the game that really sealed it. I think this will be a really good game. Boise State has a really strong defense. Their offense has gotten going. George Halani, they've had a 1,000-yard rusher in 10 consecutive seasons, and George Halani, he may keep that going. He's got like over 900 yards, and they've got 2 games left for him to get it. I'm going to go, this is going to be a really, really interesting game. I think this might be kind of a shootout. I'm going to go Boise State overall to win this, but they better be careful. I'm going to have them on a huge, huge upset alert. Personally, I like both teams. I don't know who I really want to win. I wouldn't mind it being like 59-56 and one of them wins on a last-second field goal. Like, I want like 600 yards for both teams. I think it'd be great. That being said, I think Boise State should come out on top and win the Mountain West Championship. All right, then you got the ACC title game, Virginia and Clemson. Clemson's been playing really well since early on in the season. Trevor Lawrence threw a bunch of picks, did not look good ever since. Basically, that close win against North Carolina, they've been lights off. They've looked like a playoff team. They beat South Carolina 38-3. Trevor Lawrence 295, 3 touchdowns. Justin Ross, 9 catches, 111 and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 3 catches, 101, 2 touchdowns, put up 527, allowed 174. Whereas Virginia finally beat Virginia Tech. First time in 15 years they clinched the Coastal. They're 9 wins. They beat Virginia Tech 39-30. Bryce Perkins, 311 passing yards and a touchdown. Ran for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hassis Dubois, 4 catches, 139. Defense had 6 sacks, 4 turnovers, and a fumble recovered touchdown. The line is Clemson by 29. I have a hard time seeing them clinch it. I do think Clemson will end up winning, but I'm gonna put them on upset alert because Bryce Perkins at Virginia, there's a lot of people in the country that don't know about him. Put it this way: last season, 2018, there's 2 played quarterbacks in the country that had over 3,000 passing yards and 900 rushing. Kyler Murray is one, and Bryce Perkins was the other, and Bryce Perkins doing it pretty much this year as well. I think he will make a lot of awesome plays in this game himself, but it just may not be enough for them to actually upset Clemson. I think Virginia definitely covers at 29. I can see Clemson winning, maybe end up winning by like 17 or so in a game that might be close for the half. But I got Clemson winning the ACC and getting into the playoffs. Final game of the night, Big Ten championship game, Ohio State. They destroyed Michigan again, second in a row, 56-27. Justin Fields, 302 passing, 4 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins, 211 rushing, 4 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, 3 catches, 118 and a touchdown. They put up 577 in that game. Whereas Wisconsin destroyed Minnesota, 38-17. Jack Cohn passed for 280, 2 touchdowns. Quintez Cephas, 5 catches, 114 and a touchdown. Defense had 5 sacks, 2 turnovers. Taylor had like 76 rushing yards, but I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think they played earlier. Ohio State beat them 37. I think this might be a little bit different. Justin Fields, though, everybody's saying Joe Burrow, Justin Fields. I think might be right there with Joe Burrow for the Heisman. Look at Fields' number: 37 touchdown passes, 1 interception on the season. 1. He's doing phenomenal. I think this is got Ohio State by 16.5. I actually think it's going to be a lot closer than that. I think Wisconsin has a real shot at getting upset, but I think Ohio State in the end will win by maybe 10 or 13 or so. But I'm gonna go Ohio State there with that victory. So I think they get the Big Ten championship game. So let me just recap again. I got Utah winning the Pac-12 title game. I got Oklahoma winning the Big 12 championship. I got Appalachian State winning the Sun Belt. I got Central Michigan Chippewas winning the MAC. I got Florida Atlantic Owls winning the CUSA. I got Memphis winning the American Athletic. I got LSU winning the SEC Southeastern Conference. I got Boise State winning the Mountain West Championship. I got Clemson winning the Atlantic Coast Conference. And then Ohio State winning that Big Ten championship game. So those are my picks and my previews. Leave comments and descriptions. Like, tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm a moron. But peace.